Hey everybody, today we are going to be talking about the future of Amazon FBA after the coronavirus. And obviously the coronavirus has completely changed the game, not only for our lives, but I think it's going to change the game for e-commerce. And we have an expert panel here. We've got a bunch of people I'll introduce as we go around. A lot of them are YouTubers you might recognize. And then I have some friends, some people that I consider mentors to me in the field of Amazon. And let's get started. So the idea of this is going to basically be each one of these experts are going to talk for 3 to 5 minutes, sharing what they think the future is going to be, how this has changed the game, and how you can have success on Amazon moving forward. And then after that, and then throughout this video, leave questions in the comments. I will relay all your questions. I'll ask the different expert panels. And once we get through everything else, we'll do just kind of an open Q&A. So we'll go in alphabetical order, and in the description down below is also links to everybody's YouTube channel, and I'll be introducing everyone as we go. So Ariana, let's get started with Ariana Chedraui. She's got a YouTube channel. There's a link in the description down below. She's about to hit 1,000 subscribers. So make sure she's at 996, I think. So make sure to go there, subscribe to her channel. Let's get her over that 1,000 mark. But Ariana, you want to start? So Ariana's my girlfriend. She's been selling on Amazon for a little over a year now, and she's killing it. We want to talk a little bit about what you think the future of Amazon will be.
Yeah, so this being sprung on us like completely out of the blue, and I think for a lot of us entrepreneurs, it's something that we're just going to take as it comes. And so coming into the space, I think that this is a really good time for people who are thinking about starting a business or weren't sure where to do that and what to use as far as a platform. I think people will realize now that being at home and your job might not be as stable. A lot of people are being laid off, and they probably want to disperse like their different income sources. And so selling on Amazon's a really good way to do that. And Amazon being the beast that it is, I think it's only going to get bigger after all of this as well. People who are buying from Amazon are going to buy even more now, having the ease of it being delivered to you and all of that. And like I said, it's just another source of income if you actually want to sell on Amazon and kind of take advantage of that growth that it's heading towards. So I think that this is a really good time for that. And yeah, I think it's only going to get bigger.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are seeing right now that more and more people are buying, instead of going to the store, they're buying from their home. They're realizing how easy it is with the click of a button to be able to buy online. I noticed with myself I don't usually go to the store too often, but even some food that I normally would go to the store to buy, I'm buying like 25 pounds of brown rice just in case. And I think a lot of people, especially in middle America, a lot of people are realizing, oh, I don't need to go to Walmart anymore. I can, with the click of a button, get cheaper prices delivered. So let's go next. I think James, I might mess up my alphabet here. I think James is next in the alphabet. And James is a friend and a mentor to me. He's one of the top Amazon sellers I know. If I have a question about, I'm not sure what to do with Amazon, James is the guy. He does not yet have a YouTube channel, but he will be soon. So James, what do you think? Like, what are some of the new opportunities? How do you think this is going to change the game?
So I don't know if it's necessarily related to the coronavirus, but I've been talking about the future of Amazon for a while. It's definitely not going away, but I feel like moving forward, there's going to be a significant decrease on the dependency on China. I know like a lot of people teach you private labels. The first thing you do is just go to Alibaba and you find suppliers. But they have an unfair advantage in terms of competition, the cost of their goods, their resources, the cost of labor, the low taxes or duties that they pay when they import. So I've got dozens of examples of when I would spend 3 to 4 months launching a product, and by the time it gets up on Amazon, there are 3 or 4 competitors from China selling it at a fraction of the price. So it's also really unpredictable. And those margins that I thought I was going to have, they end up being completely negated. But I think moving forward, there is a lot of opportunity in working with other countries like Taiwan, India, Vietnam. A lot of these guys are not really active on Amazon. They're really easy to work with. Their labor is a lot cheaper. For instance, a warehouse worker in India is about $150 versus about $350 per month from China. So in addition to that, I would say that people are going to start learning how to work with suppliers domestically here. I know, Travis, you get your products produced here. So that's things like in the consumables category, it's really hard for China to compete in because people just don't have an inherent trust on those consumables. Mina, I know you're in nutritional supplements as well. So great place to be. Other things that are like liquid products, like beauty products, cosmetics, things like that, it's going to be hard for China to compete. So I think the future is really just going to be working with not China and also learning how to source and make products domestically. You also get to help out the US economy too.
And one thing you've talked to me, James, about before is if you do source domestically, one advantage is that you can iterate a lot faster. And I know like you even have machines that do some of your iteration. You want to talk about that?
I mean, iteration is huge. Traditionally when I was working with China before, it would take maybe 3 to 4 months to come out with a new iteration, whether that be a color or a size. And by that time, I mean, your factory, I mean, whether or not you know it, they're probably competing with you. They see what you're doing, you're giving away your strategies, they know how much you're producing at a time. So they're 2 or 3 steps ahead of you, and being able to iterate on colors on demand or sizes or just getting customer feedback and putting those changes in place into your production, you have a huge advantage of producing those things in America.
And by the way, everybody watching live, if you have any questions for anybody talking, go ahead and throw it in the comments. And same thing for everybody on the call. If you ever want to jump in, I do want to make sure it's not too boring. I want to keep it like lively and everything, but otherwise we can just go through all one by one and talk. And I'll come. Yeah, go ahead.
I will say that, if China's charging you $5 for a product, it probably costs them $2. If you're paying 25% duties because of the trade war on that $5 invoice price, they're declaring a much lower price. So they've got an even greater advantage with that. And not only that, just their labor is like 1/6 the price of the labor here. So you can imagine the teams that they have in place to optimize their listings and to market their products.
Let me ask you then, James, before we jump over to Mina, I think is next. Do you think though, when should you still go with China? Because obviously China is still pretty cheap and there's still some opportunity there. Do you still, for certain products, go with China, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that there are still some opportunities. I will say just from my 12 years of experience working with them, there is like a low level of business ethics. So, yeah, I mean, whether or not they're probably going to compete with you in some way or another. But there are certain things that can only be produced in China. I mean, India doesn't produce certain types of metal products. So not to say that there are no opportunities, but you can expect the product life cycle to be a lot shorter than producing
I have
elsewhere.
a question that's not necessarily related to, how Amazon's going to be in the future, but basically about what you're talking about right now, James. And that is with the Chinese supplier or manufacturers, stealing your product ideas. Do you ever take a product and develop it in pieces in different places and then assemble it, in a separate location so they don't get the whole picture?
I've heard a lot of people doing that. It just seemed like a lot of work for us logistically to move things from one factory to another. The extent of that has just been to source accessories from one factory and get it shipped to another if we wanted to bundle things and getting packaging done from another factory. But I've definitely heard of people doing that. There are people that make more complicated products. Like I know some people who source or do private label for like Target or Walmart will do things like that. But for me, I never thought there was any scarcity and opportunity. So I just moved on to something else that was more simple.
Right.
If there were too many moving
I like
parts
the
like
idea
that.
with the packaging though, right? Because that's a huge part of the whole marketing and branding. They could make the thing, but giving away, the branding and the marketing on the packaging is huge as far as them understanding, the whole picture and who the customer is.
I'm sorry. What was your question? You cut out for a second.
Just the same initial question. I was just making a comment about how having the packaging made somewhere else is super smart in my opinion. Not that I do private label, but I can see how, that would leave a big piece of the marketing and branding out of the situation for them. They don't know who the customer is essentially.
Yeah, definitely. And I also think that, there's such a fundamental and cultural difference between how people in the US create packaging and marketing campaigns and how people in China create them. It's just, there's such a disconnect with what they think the customer wants and what we think the customer wants. So I've actually traditionally never been really worried about that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Cool. Let's jump over to Mina next. And Mina is another friend of mine, another Amazon seller. He teaches a lot about PPC. There's a link down below if you want to find out more. He's got a course about Amazon PPC, link in the description if you want to find out more about that. But Mina, tell me a little bit. Obviously, you've had a little bit of struggles with launching a new product. If you want to talk about that, we can, or let's also talk about the future. Yeah, go for it.
So, yeah, quickly, I'm going to talk about the future that I think. So, first of all, I think that now more than ever, your infrastructure and your business needs to be very lean and adaptable. And even if that means it's going to cost a little bit more, you have to be working lean. Like like James said, like your cycles need to be shorter, so they can adapt a lot faster to change. Things are like changing much quicker than they are usually. And so, I've realized that obviously because, things have changed up on me a lot, especially, Amazon is already a very, like, it's like almost like those like things where like the stairs are moving all the time. It's like the same thing. And on top of that, like you factor in coronavirus, it just adds to all of that. So, I've definitely looked at my business and I said, okay, anything that I need to trim the fat off is coming off immediately. And on top of that, I've kind of started mapping out every single possible worst case scenario and how can I have my business prepared. So if it happens, not that I want to prevent it, but if it does happen, then I can shift quickly, because I'm not going to try and prevent every single possible thing from happening, but I would like to be in a situation where, if something happens, then I can, shift quickly and, I'm not affected. And that obviously, ties into, how I created a new product and then, I tried to launch this new product, but Amazon's not accepting, even though I'm in supplements, which is considered essential. They're still letting me ship in all of my other supplements, but they're not letting me ship in new supplements. And I think I created the listing April 4th. So at least up until April 4th. I've talked to some other people, and one person who's also a very very big seller, much bigger than I am in supplements, said, one of them said that it went away after the week. Another one said he still has no luck. So it just kind of puts you on your back foot and says, okay, now you need to start thinking of all the possible worst case scenarios and have like a plan B in place. I think overall, because I've never looked at Amazon as kind of being like a business. It's just like a distribution channel. So I'm looking at overall the market and Amazon as a distribution channel. I think, first of all, has anyone noticed immediately as they lost their ability to ship in 2-3 days, and then other people were able to ship in the same amount of time, that everyone is like, okay, I don't care about Amazon anymore, and went somewhere else. And that was a very big like eye opener for me. I was like, wow, I thought like everyone really loved Amazon and trusted them, but because they spoiled everyone so much, the second that they lost that ability to fulfill quickly, and it was like, okay, 1 week fulfillment, I was like, okay, these guys are going to take like 6 days. Let me look at somewhere else. And I looked somewhere else, and it was like, that's going to be 3-4 days. And I went with that other, even if that means going with like on a company's own website, because they're using UPS, and UPS is only going to take 3 days or whatever. So it opened my eyes to how customer or consumer behavior is very heavily dependent on shipping times now that Amazon has spoiled them. On top of that, I think we're headed towards a recession. Obviously, everyone's been seeing, and it's been 1 quarter where the market's been down, and I think one more quarter makes it officially a recession. So I think people, a lot of people have been laid off. People's behaviors are going to start changing. They're not going to buy anything that they don't really think is essential anymore. I think, we were, the last, I think 5 or 10 years, or let's say the last 5 years, we've been just buying a lot of stuff just because we can. And I think that's going to change. But on top of that, I think, people are going to start, they're like in a recession, people are just going to look at the price. So I know a lot of like, the reason I bring this up is because I went to my manufacturer. I was like, hey man, like, what if we went all natural and this and that, how much more would it cost? He's like, listen, I've been through like the recession in 2008. I've been through like he's old, right? He's like, he's like close to 50, not old, but he's been in the game for a while. And he's like, listen, I've been through all this, I've seen business, and in recessions, no one gives a shit if your stuff is natural or this or that. He said even his wife, which he was the most like, organic fiend, he's like, listen, there's no organic milk or whatever. Like, do you want regular milk or not? And she was okay, and she would never. So even in like times like this, I think people are shifting towards, let me look at the price, and I don't care about the quality or the
I think
packaging.
that's a fact for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Because I've been doing Instacart lately, and I'll talk about that later. And it's the same thing. People's whole entire list, all organic. Can't get it? Get me this. Organic. Can't get it? Try this. Organic. Can't get it? And I'm like, look, there's the ghettoest milk ever on the shelf. You want it or you don't want it? And they're like, yeah, I'll get it. And even myself, we try to eat good food, but I'm just like, there's no options. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you might have to eat salmon because there's no chicken and there's no beef. You can't like roulette your chance to get meat. You got to get some meat, right? So you're going to eat salmon tonight, I guess. You get what you get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I see that shift. Um, I think there's also, like Ariana said, there's going to be a surge in new sellers. So I think we should brace for that. Not that it's going to be a bad or a good thing, but I just think that we should expect that there's going to be a lot more sellers on Amazon because um, retailers are shutting down. Obviously, they're right now shut down. So online business is booming. Amazon, it has become a giant. Obviously, they have so much demand they can't keep up with deliveries. But I think this right now is the time for all the other competitors to shine, just because of the fact of it's no longer 2 day shipping. Really, like, evens out the playing field. And I think Walmart's going to come up. I think a lot of other smaller brands that that are online retailers that we wouldn't usually use are going to come up, because now it's like, there's no longer stores. And I think this is going to be a while. And even if they start like letting us back out of quarantine, I think they're going to prioritize, okay, let's get the factories up and running, let's get all like the government offices and all that stuff. And it's going to be a while before they're like, all right, let's get the stupid stuff, like you don't need a new shirt, you're not going to die without a new shirt. So I think that, like,
Let me
six
ask you a
months
question real quick, Mina.
Yeah.
And a lot of you guys are private label sellers, and I'm not. I sell used books, like the cat's out the bag. Let me put it out there. It's not sexy at all. But a lot of people do what I do, or yard sales and thrifting and whatever, and then they learn with the lower tier items. They do retail arbitrage. Maybe they eventually get to wholesale or online arbitrage or private label, which is seen as like, it's like held on a pedestal, right? But it's not very accessible. Not many Americans, like when people say, I got $500, what should I do with private label? The answer is go hit the yard sales because you need more money. That's not enough. You know what I mean? You can't even get your first shipment, let alone your second or your third. And we all know the nuances of that. And in my mind, I feel like there was a lot of people that were working towards getting that capital or had just acquired that capital to start doing private label, that now that the shit hit the fan, they had to buckle down and use all of their capital just to survive and weather the storm. And when the snow melts, they're going to be standing in line with everyone else getting traditional jobs because they no longer have the capital. So I think that there's actually going to be a lot less sellers. Like I don't think there's going to be a rush of sellers. I think there's going to be a lot of people there might be a lot of like, looky-loos, people who don't really have the capital to compete or the knowledge. And there will still be the strong will survive. But I feel like a lot of people that were about to get in or had just got, like, imagine you worked your ass off for the last year to get your first shipment. You spent $2,000, $5,000, you're out of products. You can't get any more. Your listing was performing massively well. Boom, you're done. You need to save 5,000 again. So what are your thoughts on that? And like, how do you see that playing out?
That's definitely one.
And anybody who has an answer to that.
That's definitely another angle. So that is, I agree, I fully agree. That's another side I've seen. I mean, I'm sure other people will talk, but one of my products in my second brand, we couldn't even get the raw material, so that was out of stock for 3 weeks. So luckily, my income comes from my first brand, which has been okay. But if I was that second brand, you're right, I would be waiting in line for a job. So yeah, I think it's gonna hurt a lot of people. but I also think it's, like retail, online retail, I think was like 30, when they did studies, I think it was like 30% of overall retail in America. Now it's 100. It's a 70% growth of retail. I think even though a lot of people will be out of work, eventually, no one's going to stay out of work. Eventually people are going to, get a job, and I think there's going to be a surge at some
Right,
point.
right. There's going to be an increase in online shopping because people are being
Mhm.
trained and essentially forced. I went to Home Depot today. I needed to get something. There was 50 people waiting in line. I said, well, I guess I don't need to go to Home Depot today.
Yep.
Right. And so those same people that normally would go to a store, maybe they're buying online. And yes, so we're going to get more shoppers. And that, I also agree with that too. More shoppers, more sales volume, more opportunity. But I do feel like at least for a while, there's going to be this period where prices raise up on products and we're able to make more money, at least those of us that weather the storm, because everyone else who is chewing away our margins is going to get washed out.
I agree.
I'll jump in, and then Reezy, we'll have you go next. And I'll just say, like, an alternative thought. I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but I think it depends. I think the people that were tight on cash, you're right. They're not going to be able to. They're going to have to do some other kind of income, maybe like a retail arbitrage. But those people that were playing it safe, that had the corporate job, that, maybe they stored away 20 grand or whatever, they got their 401k. I think a lot of them that were on the fence of, oh, I want to start this business, some of those people, this might push them over the edge. Now, will there be more total sellers? I don't know. I think it depends on their how much. It depends on a lot of things, because a lot of the people that I work with, and if someone tells me, hey, I'm not sure if I can make the rent, I'm like, don't do private labeling. Like, I'm sure a lot of us get emails like that saying, oh, how much do you need? I've only got $1,000 in the bank. I'm like, no, this isn't the right business model for you. The retail arbitrage, like you're talking about, is better. But there also are those people that have stored away 20 grand and then they get laid off. And I think this is like the jump in. But Reezy, talk some more. I'll let you do your.
And people definitely have more time on their hands, right? So the smart people are not just watching Tiger King. They're buying digital courses and learning how to do whatever they're going to do when this whole thing is over. Like, I got so many emails from every digital marketer that was like, hey, 30 Corona deals on courses. You know what I mean? Basically, it's like a marketing opportunity because we're all slimy marketers. Some of us are awesome people also, but we are what we are. So my name's Reezy. I sell mostly used books. And I went from cherry picking books, which means you go to thrift stores, one at a time, yard sales, whatever. And we transitioned into having a bulk warehouse. So it's not a huge warehouse, 2,000 square feet, forklift, couple employees. And we have about, anywhere from 40 to 80 pallets of books at any time. A pallet is like 2,000 pounds of books, or 1,500 or whatever. And we can't get any more books right now. Our suppliers are all completely closed. And so I had to send my team home. And also with the whole, we're selling more books than ever on Amazon right now. We were selling about 100 a day. Now we're selling about 200 a day. The problem is Amazon's still only shipping 40 a day, still, like as of right now. And so when people tell me, oh, maybe Amazon's going to open back up and we'll be able to send everything in, and I was like, yeah, some stuff maybe, but books aren't coming out anytime soon. There's no way they're going to let you start sending in everything. Right now, I could send in about 12% of any book that I scanned, right, to send in. And I don't see them allowing us to send more and increase their workload when they still can't keep up with the current workload. It just doesn't make sense, right? And so books are deemed non-essential. And so we've transitioned to merchant fulfilling books. So storing it ourselves and shipping it. And it's like back to the old days, what we used to do 15 years ago before FBA came out, right? And it's been refreshing. I've seen price increases. And it's just like made me really feel insecure about, wow, we do, almost 100% of our business on Amazon. We use a couple other websites or whatever, but for the most part, 95 to 99% Amazon. And then having to switch our whole business model over, it really exposed our weakness to us and has me looking at, well, maybe I should cross list our inventory on eBay. And like I'm building shelves in the warehouse and I'm thinking about, okay, how many people is it going to take to ship all these books out, and I'm like, oh God, I got to order packing supplies now, and so it's a whole different ball game. And to be honest, I think it kind of forced us to realize that there is some inventory, especially the really light, smaller stuff that we can make more money on shipping it ourselves and storing it locally. like stuff where we would maybe make a quarter selling at FBA. And because I sell books, I pay 7 cents a unit. And so even a quarter is still a 400% margin for us. We could make like $1.50 selling it ourselves. And so it's still $1.50. But if you think about wrapping 100 books, you know, making $150, and then how long would it take someone to do it? Blah, 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 simple math equation. And so it's really just made me think about, wow, I need to look at other platforms and not even just other platforms, also other suppliers, because all of my suppliers are, most of them are like, I have several suppliers from one company and a few suppliers from another company. Both of those companies closed down. And so right now I'm like, man, I need to check out a state to find some more suppliers. And then I realized that my workers don't even want to work right now because they're like relaxed and they're content with their quarantine right now. It's not that they're afraid to work. Their landlord is furloughing their rent right now. And so they're like, they're just employees, right? So I mean, I love them, I respect them and everything, but they don't need the money. And so now I'm like, okay, even if I get a supply, I need to hire more employees. And we're sitting here thinking, how much longer can we afford to pay $2,000 a month for this warehouse that we're not really using? And we have to think about, well, how much time does it take to set up? How much time does it take to break down? There's not a lot of availability where I'm at, you know? And so it's a lot of crazy stuff. But in the meantime, we have pivoted as a business and went into retail arbitrage hard, like 10 hours a day of shopping, going to Target, going to CVS, going to Rite Aid, going to any grocery store. Basically, the only things open are like Target, Walmart, grocery stores, and pharmacies. So whatever you can find in those stores. And one of the things that's selling extremely well for us, I'm not going to give away exact products or brand names or anything, is vitamins and supplements. And it's been insane to see the demand and the prices that people will pay for this stuff. And I mean, it's very dangerous as far as your Amazon seller account. There's price gouging alerts, all kinds of stuff. Things are going inactive from having too high of prices. I'm very lucky to have such an old Amazon account that I don't seem to get in too much trouble for almost anything that I do. I don't even get I just get like an email. Sometimes I don't even get an email, just get an alert, click on it, and they're like, all right, don't do that again, you know, and we're good. But it has really got me looking into wanting to do wholesale because, and obviously online arbitrage is cool too, but like the amount of products that I've had in my hands in the last 2 to 3 weeks, hundreds of different kinds of vitamins. It doesn't even look like vitamins to me anymore. It just looks like crap in a bottle with a label on it. And sometimes you get it and it has this color cap on it. And sometimes it has a different color cap or different packaging. And I'm like, is UPC the same? All right, it's the same product. But customer ordered 2. Don't send those 2 because they have different packaging. Customer might freak out. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's just like, if I think all of us are just well aware, like nothing is secure. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, whether that's different suppliers, different platforms, different products. Maybe, you know, you're lucky because you're in supplements and that's what's selling really well right now. But what if you were just like me and did books and now you're like, well, what the heck do I do? You know what I mean? And even as a YouTuber, my YouTube channel is in the dumps. I don't know if you've noticed, Travis, but no one wants to learn about Amazon right now when they can't really go out and do anything. You know, suppliers are closed. They can't order stuff. So my views have just totally been in the tank. And then I got a little lucky. I started doing Instacart. My daughter's doing Instacart because she got laid off. And I went with her for an hour and made a video, and she made $50 in an hour. And I was like, whoa, you just made $50 in 1 hour? Like, for real? That was easy. I did the video. The video did 100,000 views in 2 weeks. So I signed up for Instacart, started doing it myself. And then I realized, I was like, wow, this like extrapolates. You can make 300 plus a day on Instacart in 8 hours easily. I made another video, 100,000 in 1 week. So now I'm exploring, you know, I pivoted on my social media content. I'm making videos about Instacart, and I signed up for DoorDash and Uber Eats and all of these different stuff. And I'm going to try them and make videos. And it's more than just like trying them. I'm actually making thousands of dollars myself doing these things. And so I'll do an Instacart to, like, you know, over here, then I'll clock out, then I'll source RA at the stores, then I'll clock back in. And I'm like, I'm trying to move all my supplements and vitamins to the side so I can put groceries back in the car to deliver the next order or whatever. But I mean, all of these stuff is happening just because of the coronavirus, and we're just reacting and seeing what happens. So I mean, I don't know if I have any real advice on the subject, but just like try new stuff. You know what I mean? Don't get so stuck in your ways. Maybe try merchant fulfilling. Maybe you could make more money using a different fulfillment company than Amazon. I talked to a dude the other day. He's crushing merchant fulfilled using a third party fulfillment service. So his stuff is still getting to customers in like 3 days, just like as if it was FBA, and they have access to his account through what is it called? I forget what it's called. They have special
API.
Yeah. No, I don't know if it's through the API. They just have like permissions to access his orders or whatever. And so they're shipping for him and he pays a per unit fee or whatever, just a fulfillment service. And I was like, wow, dude, you're a genius. Like, you're killing it. He's doing like 1,500 orders a day. I know so many sellers right now that are making more money than they ever made in their life. I know people that were making $5,000 a day for a week straight because any Easter candy they grabbed off the shelf was just selling for ridiculous prices. And they're like, dude, I could have made $5,000 to $10,000 more, but I ran out of packaging supplies, and the packaging supplies are delayed on shipments. You know what I mean? So you weren't ready for that, right? So be ready for anything, because anything could happen. And just like look at this situation and think about who was affected more or less, and can your business benefit from, how can you learn from those situations, right? Because I'm learning a lot every single day. Like, people are like, I'm bored, I have so much time. And I was like, dude, I've never had less time. Like, I have no time to do anything.
Yeah.
So it sounds like one trend Mina was talking about and you're saying is be willing to pivot. And there's a book, one of my favorite books, it's called Opportunity. And one of the points of the book is opportunities are going to come and go faster and faster in the next coming years as the digital revolution is taking over and people are having more and more access to the internet. People are going to be able to jump on trends. So this opportunity will open up and it'll close because it'll get flooded. And it sounds like more or less that's what both you and Mina have said, is just, hey, things are changing and jump on the opportunity now. Because I think some of these opportunities you're talking about 3 months from now, when quarantine's done and people are, I'm hoping 3 months from now, it's going to be summer and people aren't going to be worried. Like vitamins, people just go to the store themselves. Maybe, I don't know, and not pay extreme prices.
Yeah. You never know. Right. So for me, like, a big struggle is like, man, I'm paying for this warehouse, but I'm only using the office right now. I did $150,000 in sales in the last 30 days in a 10 by 10 room. And, my forklift and pallets and all this stuff is in the other end. And I'm like, what am I even paying for this for? I could be doing this in my garage. And like, my kid can be like drawing chalk on the sidewalk in front of the garage and riding her bike around. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need to be there. So how long will it last? You know what I mean? What's my lease termination fee going to be? Can the landlord even impose that during a disaster? Like, these are things that I'm thinking about right now. And so, you know what I mean? We all got to adapt. I'm a firm believer of the strong will survive, right? So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? We're going to make it happen. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think you got to adapt. That's the only way. I don't think there's an answer. I think people are always like looking for an answer, and there's no answer. It's just be the person with the most balance, the most limber person who, whatever happens, whatever shake happens, you can always stay on your feet. That's it.
Yeah, be ready to drink regular milk.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Let's jump over to Samer. Samer, what do you think? Any thoughts on everything we're talking about? The future of Amazon, different opportunities coming up?
What's it like in Canada, bro? Tell us how it is up there.
Yeah.
Canada is nice, but we can't go outside to enjoy it. That's the problem. The weather is getting better and better, but the market in Canada, as you can imagine, a lot more people are buying on Amazon or just online in general. And it wasn't the case before. I feel like Canadians are late to the online shopping game. But after this, I would assume that there's going to be a lot of new customers that stay in the online shopping.
I agree.
So that's exciting. And I don't have products selling here yet, but now I'm trying to get them here as soon as possible. So yeah, I sell private label just like Mina and Travis and Trevin. Do you?
Yes, I do. Private label.
And then James as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's face it, I'm the only not private label seller here.
Yeah, Ariana as well. Sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, so I've been selling private label for about 2.5 years now. And I'm one of those that Reezy mentioned that's making more money than ever now, just out of pure luck of having a product that people need. So what I'm doing now is trying to make as many good decisions as possible. And because it's a product that people need, what I'm doing most is just listening to my customers and trying to talk to them as much as possible. I've been working on creating a brand and social media and all this fun stuff for a while, it's been doing okay, but it's given me the option to be able to talk to my customers. And by doing that, I've been able to think of new products and new services that I can offer them that can help solve their problems, which is a good thing, but also can help grow my business and help me make money. So that's what I'm doing most now, trying to connect with my customers. And I've been talking a lot to my influencers as well. And it's weird to say, but it's easier than ever to connect with them as human beings because we're in a time of, there's a lot of emotions. So it's easier to connect with customers and influencers. So I've seen influencers jump on board and want to work with us more than ever. It's weird. So I'm taking advantage of the opportunity of being able to talk to these customers because, Amazon, we can't really do that much. What else?
Coming up with improvements for your products and variations as well.
Yes, so I was about to launch a variation of the same product but a different color, but I decided not to do that because with a new color, I'm just getting new customers and not really the old customers. But instead, I'm going to launch a new product that customers asked for. This way I can get the new customers, but also the old customers. So yeah, I'm listening to what they're asking and I'm trying to adapt as fast as possible.
So most of that interaction is going on social media or on your product detail pages?
Well, talking to them and getting answers. It's both because they can ask questions on Amazon, but mostly Instagram and Facebook.
Or I guess email too. You probably have all that set up, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Samer, do you sell on your own website as well? Or are you just on Amazon right now?
So I've had a website for a few months and it's the most basic website ever. It's just, a photo and then the products and that's it. And it was selling like once a month before, but now we're getting sales almost 2 to 3 to 5 times a week, which is crazy. Just like Mina said, like people want whatever solution that's possible. So that's, again, the best time to create a brand and a connection and to gain that trust because it's easy to get it now so you can keep it forever. Yeah. So I'm improving my website for this very reason. It's launching soon. And was that your question?
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to add to that is because both you and Mina were saying the same thing. I always buy everything off Amazon. I bought this it's a camera link. I haven't hooked it up yet, but for setting up a DSLR to a computer, it was sold out on Amazon because everybody's, trying to do these Zoom calls. And so it's sold out on Amazon. I ended up going to their website and it was fine. No issues. Same thing. I bought 25 pounds of quinoa because I'm like, just in case I could survive off that for a long time. And I went to Amazon and it's $300 or something crazy.
Went to Elgato Cam Link.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm going to go see if I can make some money right now.
Is that what you're, yeah, it's a good idea. Actually, Reezy, I'm curious, what do you use? Because you have a pretty good camera.
Currently streaming on, the reason I was late actually is because my wife took over my studio because she's doing school up here. Currently using a Logitech C922 webcam, which is like not even the newest version. It's just like a $70 cam. But this camera, if you can get it right now, is like one of the hottest sellers on Amazon. So if you're listening and you have maybe a Walmart somewhere in the middle of nowhere that still has them, they're $70 and they're selling for $300 on Amazon. And it's like number 10 in electronics.
Yeah, I think Samer, you have that same camera. Trevin, you have that same camera. Yeah, I have that camera.
Yeah, I've got that too. My color balance is off today, but whatever. I got to play with that a little bit. Samer, I want to go back though. Any other thoughts on everything going on? And I do want to agree with you on the influencers. I've been contacting, I think in general, it's easier than Ariana has as well. Yeah. It's easier than ever, I think, to contact anybody right now because people that are really busy are stuck at home. And some people are like Reezy or probably like you, Samer, where they're really busy, but some people are like, whoa, I've got more free time. And
Instagram and checking out Facebook anyway, so it's kind of easy way to reach targets that way, reach audiences and stuff.
People don't get that social interaction in person right now, so they have to turn to social media, I think. But yeah, Samer,
it's almost like summer, but like kids are out of school, etc. But people are on vacation, but they got nowhere to go.
It's crazy because I think all of us, I work from home often. So for me, I got to get out of the house. I'll go for a jog or I'll go for a walk. And usually when I do that, there's nobody really out there. But now there's just tons of people out with their kids. It is exactly like summer break. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I just posted a video right now called "Is it harder to rank on Amazon or launch and rank on Amazon?" What do you guys think the answer is?
I would think not that many people are launching right now. I could be totally wrong. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
See, I just launched a product a week ago, and it's absolutely crushing it right now. And I've made the transition to merchant fulfilled as well, because most of my products have been selling out, crazy demand, and I haven't been able to replenish it. So I've had to make that transition as well myself. And I was thinking, well, if I'm going to be fulfilling all of these orders anyways, I might as well launch a product that's an essential. And Amazon is claiming that it's not essential, even though it is, but they're making me fulfill it myself. And I can't keep that item in stock. I've placed an order for 10,000 units, and I'm going to probably sell out in 2 weeks. Like, it's insane. Like, trying to keep up with that demand. And so when people are like, oh, I don't want to launch a product, if you have the right product, I think you can totally launch it. And maybe I'm a little bit more experienced than a new Amazon seller, and I knew what to look for, and I was differentiating the product, and I understood the demand of it, and I was able to get on the product quick. And I found a supplier that was able to make it quick and get it to me in 3-4 days shipping. And it's worked really well for me, and that's basically saved my business.
So the listing doesn't have the Prime badge, right?
No, it doesn't.
And it's still selling.
Yep.
Great.
I've also seen a lot of competitors drop out just because they've run out of inventory. So I've been able to take advantage of that and take a lot of the quantities there. And also I feel like the PPC costs, I don't know, maybe Mina can speak more on this, but the PPC costs have gone down. I personally know like a handful of sellers who just turned off a ton of ads because they're trying to be more frugal. And so I had opportunities there.
Are any of you guys seller fulfilled Prime?
It won't let me switch to seller fulfilled Prime. It says it's not available anymore or something.
Yeah, it's an application, and I know a few people who applied, but they're not accepting applications right now.
Bummer. So the people who had it just lucked out right now.
Yeah.
So actually, let's Sam, or anything else before we jump over to Trevin? Any other thoughts? Or what did your video say? What were your thoughts on that?
Well, yeah, I said basically what everyone said. Competitors are running out of stock. Some shipments are taking too long to get into Amazon or to get out of Amazon. Demand is very high, so it should be pretty easy to launch. If people want the product, they're going to buy it. If there's not that much demand, you can do some search, find, buy, and rank it easily. I thought it was like something similar to real estate, where you're buying real estate for cheap now, and you're ranking that product on page 1, and that's your real estate. And then if you find the right real estate, you can stay there on page 1, and when demand is back or when everything's back to normal, you're there showing up in front of people. I launched the product, not launched, but I just turned on a bit of PPC for one of the products recently. Very cheap conversions, and jumped from 100,000 BSR to 8,000 in like the same day with very little PPC.
Travis, how much did you buy that cam link for off Elgato's website?
I think it was like
$100.
I think it was like 130, something like that.
All right. So that product right now is ranked number 6 in internal TV tuner and video capture cards. It has 870 4.5-star ratings. There's no FBA offers, and the current low price is $429.99, paying out $392.
Wow.
The 90-day average is still a little inflated, but it's 147. And Amazon's price, which looks like was 128.04 the last time they were in stock.
So I might have to sell that. Maybe I don't need it that bad. Buy a few more of these.
I'd flip it and buy it back later if you're not going to use it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That's crazy. I wonder, do you think they put any, do they throttle the amount of sales that someone can buy from their website, you think? Or is this?
I'm on their website right now, and I don't know what's going on, but it won't, when you click shop, nothing happens. So I thought it was an ad blocker, which I just disabled that, and it just wasn't working. So
there's 67 people watching live. I think everyone went and bought it.
Everybody went and bought it.
By the way, to everybody watching live, make sure to hit the like button. We got 67 people watching, 16 likes. I think we can do better than that.
Come on, guys. I know you're stuck at home with nothing else better to do
than to like that video.
Yeah, just gotta like the video.
Just a little.
Let's go to Trevin. Trevin, what are some of your thoughts? Obviously, that's pretty crazy that you have a product that's just selling out. You're going to buy 10,000 units, sell out in a week. What else are you experiencing?
So I think it's cool that what everyone is saying is no one's complaining. Everyone is just pivoting and making changes in their business, and everyone's still seeing success. So a lot of people are like, oh, should I start Amazon or should I do this? And it's like, dude, people are making an absolute killing at any given moment, whether it's January Q1, whether it's Q4 during prime time or during this crazy crisis of the coronavirus. I mean, people are just going out there and making it happen. And in my opinion, I think what's going on is absolutely like, it's the best thing that's going to happen, is because it's going to weed out the bad people, all the crap and BS that happens on Amazon. It's going to get those people basically off and stop doing what they're doing. And it's going to provide even more opportunity for us. And that's what I've seen in the last few weeks is there's more opportunity, there's more demand. I mean, everyone's already said that, but just to reiterate how big the opportunity is. And another thing that I kind of wanted to touch on is just to kind of understand how big of a beast Amazon is and the business model, whether it's private label, wholesale, retail arbitrage. It's a business model that has proved its test of times, and it's going to continue to go. And a lot of people are like, hey, should I do drop shipping or Amazon FBA? And I'm like, drop shippers right now are literally screwed. Like they can't do anything, and that sucks. And Amazon is something that has been more consistent. And yes, you do have to make those changes. And if you're not willing to change, then entrepreneurship, building a business is probably not for you. But that's just kind of the reality of Amazon, is it's going to constantly change, and whatever is thrown at you, you just need to be able to deal with it. So that's kind of my thought, is the opportunity is still wide open. You just need to capitalize on it and stop complaining, just take action and just go for it. And that's kind of been my kind of mindset lately. I just bought a new house, and I'm thinking, well, I got to pay the bills. I got to do something. I got to provide for my family. I can't just sit around and sit on my couch and watch Netflix.
How much you buy it for in Utah? 50 grand in coronavirus in Utah?
Say that again?
50 grand in coronavirus in Utah?
What's 50 grand?
The house in Utah right now?
Oh no, it was it was a little pricey.
I'm just messing around.
I was gonna say 50 grand. I'm on the west coast of California in the coast, and I was like 50 grand.
I wish it was 50 grand.
Isn't that how much houses cost in Utah?
No, my landscape was 75 grand.
Damn.
So
oh man.
But that's kind of my kind of thoughts on the future of Amazon. Retail arbitrage, kind of what Reezy is doing. That's what my little brother's doing. And there's tons of opportunities. So if you don't have money to start, then you can turn $100 into $1,000 real quick. So there shouldn't be any excuse of what should I be doing? Just go out there and put in the work, and you'll see results.
I love what you said about how at any given point in time, someone's killing it, because that's so true. I don't think I've like, there's always been at any point, if your sales are down, someone's killing it. If your sales are up, someone's killing it more than you. I love that. I absolutely agree. I think in coronavirus, someone's killing it. When it was good, someone's killing it. Last recession, 2008, someone killed it. So yeah, I mean, so the money's going to go to someone. So that should be you.
Exactly. And kind of touching, you kind of brought up the recession, and I did some research, and I agree, we're going into a recession. It's bound to happen. And luckily, and what I've researched, Amazon sellers and online sales, and Amazon specifically, still do really, really well during a recession. So if you're scared about starting an Amazon business because of a recession, I think that's a lame excuse. But that's kind of my thought. What are your guys' thoughts on starting a business, even though a recession could happen?
I don't know about, you guys sell much more expensive products than me for the most part. My ASP is like $12. Also, my cost of goods is extremely low, but through the 2008 recession, I didn't even notice it. Just kept selling books. People are always like, well, the 2008 recession. And I was like, did you have to own a house to experience that recession? Because I didn't experience it.
I didn't feel
Felt it for
anything
that
in
long?
2008 either.
Yeah, I'm with James. I didn't feel. I mean, I think I must have been in college, but to me, I'm like everyone's complaining about it. Or when I'd travel, people would talk about it. But from my own experience, it was pretty much the same thing. And I think a lot of people lost their jobs and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, not a big deal.
I think construction industry during a recession gets absolutely destroyed. That's what I was doing before. And my dad is in construction, and during 2008, he got absolutely demolished. But online sales, I'm excited to see what happens during the recession. I want to take advantage of the opportunity and be smart with my money and come out on top.
I think one of the things that was the most interesting to me so far is what Samer mentioned about hopefully this increases the consumer online shopping of consumers in Canada and other countries. Because I don't travel a ton, but I do speak in other countries, and I've been to other places, and I know people that sell all over the world. And for example, I know that 100,000 in books in America is the equivalent, or in the UK, 100,000 is the equivalent of like 1 million here. Right. So it's like the principles are still the same, but there's nuances, and and it's just because, and also people don't buy as much. And on top of that, Amazon pioneered online shopping and delivering it with Prime and getting people so used to that. And then they took their sweet time to roll out to every other country. In that time period, everyone saw what they were doing. And so when Amazon Prime launched in other countries, it wasn't a new thing. They had already been used to getting their groceries delivered in 2 days from the store down the street and having fulfillment in local grocery stores and all that stuff. So they never have really got on the bandwagon because they didn't have to. They had more options. Amazon wasn't the only player in town, but right now they pretty much are. And so I'm excited for people that are not in America to see, for Australia, Amazon is, not really that good. People always downplay it. You know what I mean? So maybe it's going to come out and be really good. Maybe people are now getting their Vegemite off of Amazon Australia, so I'm excited. It's not even going to benefit me at all, but I nerd out over consumer behavior and how you can adjust it and what changes it. It's very interesting.
So two actually things to add. First off, on what you guys were talking about, if you look at the stats, it's actually only 12% of all retail sales last year in 2019 happened online. And it was projected to be 14, which is extremely low. So everyone talks about how Amazon is taking over. It's still only at 12%, or actually they have half of all online sales.
Essentially.
Yeah. It's 6%. So there's a lot of room to grow. And I think e-commerce as a sector is going to grow. And then Trevin, what you were talking about, if you looked at, I think it was a few years ago, I read an article. If you look at the Fortune 500, the top 500 most successful companies, over half of them were started during a recession. And there's something about starting a company when there's this really strong need. And right now, in my opinion, there's a change taking place. It's forcing a lot of people, a lot of these old things that we did just because we did them, like going to an office. People are realizing, oh yeah, we don't have to go to an office anymore. We can have a Zoom call. I have a home computer with an internet and I can do all this stuff. And I think what's going to happen is a lot of corporations are going to realize, why are we spending tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars on this office space when we don't need to? And then obviously a lot more people are going to be buying things online. But and I'll just talk about an opportunity I see coming up is one of Ariana's friends actually was applying for Netflix and trying to get a job at Netflix because that seems like one of the companies that would still be hiring. And Netflix is actually freaking out right now because they can't make content because all the production is shut down. And so they're going to run out of material. And I see YouTube, I see podcasts, I see all this user generated content. I know for me, this whole thing has not hurt my ability to create YouTube videos. I'm assuming for most of you guys, it hasn't. I mean, it looks like Reezy's actually been doing better because, it hurt him at first, but then he's been able to pivot. Big giant production companies can't do that. So I think a few different people were saying that Amazon is just a platform, and that's firm. I think Amazon will continue to grow. I think Amazon is amazing, but I think you, as an individual, you need to approach it as a business. And that, to me, that means start a YouTube channel, start a podcast, maybe a Facebook group, or building some kind of community, engage people socially. And I think this is a perfect time to do that because people they're not allowed to have social contact. It's stay 6 feet away. and I don't know if you guys feel this way, but when I go for a walk and I see other people, I used to be a little bit more smiley, like kind of wave. Now I'm kind of just subconsciously avoiding them. I'm like, oh, 6 feet. Yeah, get away from me.
Can't even tell if people are smiling anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. They got the face mask on. It's a weird time. And I think it's forced a lot of people just to go online to replicate that. Instead of going to the gym, I'll watch a YouTube video. It's like a 20-minute workout.
That's a very interesting concept, to think that well-produced content is running out of back catalog, and then people can't go and make new stuff, but yet live TV and regular broadcast is like taking advantage of it. People like Jimmy Fallon, like they're crushing it. It's still good. It's still funny. You know what I mean? They're just, Lin-Manuel Miranda is like playing Hamilton songs on his piano, like FaceTime, and they got that linked into the show, and like Ellen's on, like everybody seems to be doing well. And it's like, maybe this is going to change the way consumers consume entertainment long-term, because people are like,
100%.
well, maybe we don't really need that good production. Maybe it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? I'm like tech geek. So I'm like, get the line in audio, like God, line in audio, but they're just using the FaceTime with the camera, and it doesn't matter. But that's a huge disadvantage for Netflix, because Netflix has no low quality content. Whereas YouTube is kind of in the same space as Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all that stuff. They do have their premium stuff. They haven't really had a big success on a premium, well-produced thing yet, but they have that user-generated thing. What if Netflix allowed people to upload content into their platform, and on your Netflix home screen, there was user-generated content? Obviously,
that would be a sick concept.
It has to have 100,000 likes or whatever before it starts showing up on people's home screens. But I believe that eventually that's where it's going to go. We've already democratized it away from TV and the old white men. Now it's like Netflix and these companies. But eventually it's going to be like, no, we just made a movie ourselves. You've never heard of any of us, but we got good cameras and we made a sick movie and just uploaded it to Netflix, and, we made $10 million.
Yeah, that's something to add to that. When you were mentioning starting a YouTube or podcast, something that I'm big into and I'm very passionate about, and you guys might think that it's funny. Gary Vee's very passionate about it too, and it's TikTok. TikTok is something that has absolutely helped my business during this quarantine. People, for whatever reason, the only YouTube videos that they want to watch that I post is if it talks about quarantine, crisis, coronavirus. Other than that, they don't want to watch it. But if I post something stupid on TikTok, dude, they're all about it. And just TikTok is another business opportunity for someone that doesn't have any following whatsoever. You can post one TikTok video, it can go viral, and you can get thousands of followers in a matter of a few days, and you can start monetizing it and build a business around that, and then go to a podcast, then go to YouTube, and then you can start growing a business.
Yeah, relatable content is blowing up. I had to shave my beard. I had a massive Gandalf beard, some of you might remember, and I had to shave it. It was like a year-long beard. I had to shave it because it's so uncomfortable to wear a mask, and everyone in my YouTube comments was telling me that mask's not really working, buddy. And so I shaved it. But just being a YouTuber, I was like, I'll go grab the camera before I start shaving and make a video of it. So I just locked myself in the bathroom, shaved my beard. You shave little funny beards in there, little Hitler mustache, whatever, and you be funny with it or whatever. Put it on YouTube. Did not think it was going to do good. My channel is an educational channel. I teach people how to make money, and that video has like 8,000 views in a few days. And literally my best friend calls me, and I know he doesn't watch my YouTube. He calls me and just goes, "That's the best video you've ever made." I was like, are you freaking for real right now? And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, people are trapped inside. They need entertainment. A lot of people are probably, shaving their head, doing their own barbery, maybe shaving their beard because they need to wear a mask too, whatever. But it was just like, wow, what other kind of like relatable stuff could I make right now? And like, people are like, well, you're funny. And so I'm like telling my wife, I'm like, see, I am funny. But maybe I should try to make a funny video every once in a while, or one a week, or something. I don't know. It's just another pivot and just trying to be relatable during this time,
I have a friend.
People will write books around this time.
I have a friend who actually had a haircutting channel. And he had this one video, which is like how to clip your hair at home or whatever. And it was like doing all right. It hit 3 million views over the coronavirus. Yeah. And he had a private label clipper and stuff like that. And then he posted, he said, anyone who buys like my clippers, I'm gonna donate 100% of the profits to like coronavirus or something like that. And I mean, he killed it.
Wow,
So
that is
yeah.
amazing. Side note, I'll throw another little bolo out there for you guys. Hair clippers, whatever hair clippers you can find at any store right now, sell them on Amazon 5 times the price, maybe even more. Any kind, it doesn't matter what the brand is. If it cuts hair, people will buy it.
Trevin, I'm curious about TikTok because that's something I don't know anything about. And as a quick side note, I know I told most people this would only be an hour. If anybody has to head off, that's totally fine. Probably just hang out for another 5 or 10 minutes because I'm curious about TikTok. And I got one other question for you guys, but I know nothing about TikTok. How do you approach it? Is it just fun, funny content, or do you do some stereotypical teaching people about like Amazon type stuff as well?
So there's kind of 2 aspects to it. There can be the fun pranks, just do whatever kind of thing, or there are things where you can do like a snippet, like a 1 minute, like kind of sneak peek and say, this is how you do this, watch the full video on my YouTube channel. And it's a great way to drive traffic to other social media platforms. And another thing that I'm actually working on a YouTube video, and I'm going to show how to use TikTok to build your product brand. And that's something that a lot of people are sleeping on, because if you think about your brand, and if you would have jumped on Instagram the second year that it came out and started building your social media following on Instagram to where it's at now, you would be absolutely crushing it because you have a big loyal following. And that's the same thing with TikTok.
Let me give
easier to grow.
2 tips real quick on TikTok. So one, Travis, because I can tell you really want to know like what's the key things and you haven't done it.
Yeah.
On TikTok, your content needs to be very immersive. You need to keep people's attention the entire time. If like you cannot stretch, it's not like a YouTube video where you could make it in 5 and you like talk slower and bullshit to make it 10 minutes and 1 second so you can put more ads on it. That will never work on TikTok. The max limit is 60 seconds. The default limit is 15 seconds. And if you can do your video in 15 seconds, do it in 15 seconds. Do not, like, I'm serious. Like if it doesn't completely engage them for every quarter second, they will skip it. Like you think of a TikTok video in quarters of a second. How engaging is it, right? It needs to be on point, super engaging. The other thing is anything that like has that element of opening a Christmas present. If you can tell a story that makes people want to watch to the end, and it also still is quick cuts, keeping their attention, low production, doesn't really matter. That will always be good because they'll stick around to the end. But TikTok has discovery through song features. So it's actually the first social media platform that has video editing built into it. So kids are learning how to edit videos on TikTok. And when you add the music, it's inside of there. They're learning about music through TikTok. When you watch a TikTok, little record spins on the bottom. You can click on it and see what song they used. And you can also see the recent and the most popular videos made with that same song, right? So there's discovery. The song is like a hashtag kind of on Instagram. It has discovery. They also have hashtags. So when you make a video on TikTok, you need to use a song from the catalog, right? You don't have to, but you should, because it's an additional way to get discovered. You can look for top, popular, hot, featured, whatever. Pick a song. And here's a little hack. Even if you don't want to use the song, just use it anyways, and then go to the volume and turn the volume down on the song. You'll still get discovery through the song for using that popular top song, but it won't have the sound on the, you can edit your own video with your own sound, still choose, the popular Ariana Grande song or whatever song that is, and then turn the volume all the way down to where you can't hear it. And then you just get a little extra discovery. Also, putting like the hashtag FYP or hashtag for you page seems to help, but putting a lot of hashtags does not seem to help at all. Like I've been amazed. Most of the viral videos I see on TikTok have 1, maybe 2 hashtags.
Did you post your beard video on TikTok?
What was that?
Did you post your beard video on TikTok?
I did not, because if I did, I need to edit it down to make it much faster. And I would focus on the funny elements too. Like, wow, I got to shave this beard. Like on YouTube, I go, oh, you thought I was going to shave the beard. I got to tell you about this beard. Well, I've had this beard for no one cares about that on TikTok. No one cares about that. You say crazy guy, homeless looking beard, clippers, cut next to shaving hair, next clip, funny face. Oh, something's going on around here. Wild West mustache, Hitler mustache. done. What do you think? You know, like that's it. It might not even be 15 seconds.
And so both for Trevin and for Reezy, do you guys, it seems like a lot of it's funny stuff, but are you still giving tips like reselling tips, Amazon tips? Reezy, I'll let you answer first, and Trevin, same question.
Yeah, definitely. So I am not doing good on TikTok with funny stuff. So my best TikToks are all like, you know, hey guys, do you want to change your life? You know, like, or do you want to keep working your crappy job with that, you know, that sad song, like, don't make a cup of coffee, but whatever that song is, right? And then I'm like, I used to be homeless, blah, 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 government welfare, healthcare, and I changed my life. Like I did this and I did this, and I give it all away for free. Go to my website. And like that does well, you know, or one of my best ones is like, it's a video essentially where I show people that Best Buy price matches Amazon. And a lot of people don't know that. Some people listening right now might not even know that. But so anytime you go to Best Buy to pick up a product, if Amazon sells that same product, ships and sold by Amazon, and it's in stock, Best Buy will instantly match Amazon's price. I needed to get a cable for my MacBook. Best Buy's price was $55 or $60 for a USB-C charger cable. Amazon's price was $30. So I did screen recording and I'm trying not to get ripped off, guys. Let me show you how to not get ripped off at Best Buy. And so, you know what I mean? But it has mainstream appeal. You know what I mean? So yes, informational, but if you can dance or sing or, be funny, like there's this guy that does, Obama and Trump impersonations. Guarantee you guys have seen his TikTok before. Yeah. Blowing up.
Trevin, same question for you. What have been some of your biggest videos and what have you learned from those?
So it's the same thing with YouTube clickbait. Yeah. And I use my Tesla as clickbait and I show random features, and there's people that have TikToks just around their Tesla that have millions of followers, and literally they have them opening up the door and closing the door, turning on just the most random stuff. And
it is a sexy door though.
It's weird because like yesterday I posted a video. I filmed my brother's phone of her name's Addison. She's massive on TikTok, has like 30 million followers. She's like 15 years old and she went live. And if you go live on TikTok, you can make money, and they like pay you through like people like us can go on there and like pay the person. And I just
you give out gifts or whatever.
Gifts.
You have to put money into your account to buy the gifts to then give them to people.
And so I just filmed her live and I was like, look how much money this girl's making. She has millions of followers on TikTok. And it was like a 15-second video and it has 30,000 views in less than 24 hours. That was it. It was a 15-second video of me filming her, used her hashtag, and boom, it blew up.
Like any one of you guys that tries hard and actually tries, and what the difference is between like kind of trying and actually trying. You could do a week's worth of work in a few hours when you really try. Like I'm talking like that kind of try. If you try that hard on TikTok, easily 10,000 followers from 0 in 1 month. Easy. It's the easiest platform to grow on. That being said, it's also hard to transfer people over to other platforms to get them to link out. But there is, people are inquisitive and they do have native built-in links at the top of your profile to go to your YouTube or your Instagram or whatever. And I do see comments from people on my YouTube that are like, hey, I'm here from TikTok, and I'm like,
yeah, I've actually found more conversions from any other platform from TikTok. People are messaging me. I probably get 2 DMs a day of someone saying, hey, I found you on TikTok. I'm interested in Amazon FBA. What can you tell me about it?
Yeah, Instagram, I really think the Tesla works really good as a hook for that type of thing, right? Because they're on there, they see the Tesla, they want a Tesla. How the fuck am I going to get a Tesla? They go to your YouTube and they're like, oh, this is how I'm going to get the Tesla.
Hey, Travis, check out Anthony Lee from Helium 10. He's on TikTok and he does all 100% informational videos, and they're amazing.
And he's done well. So well. He's grown a big following from it too.
What do you say, Travis? Should we start?
Yeah, Ariana's been talking about doing TikTok. I like
you
YouTube.
Should, I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I'll wrap it up with one last question. I'll let you guys go. I know we're over time. So I am going to it sounds like a few of you guys have had some success with launching products, and I'm going to be filming it like live, like doing all this stuff, launching a product. May 7th is the hopeful date. I've been working on this product, James.
Product live?
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about doing it live.
Has that ever even been done before?
I don't think so, but I'm gonna basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna film
The
like a
balls
video.
of this man.
We'll see how it goes. I'll do a
The
video
people
a
that
week,
have done
like
it
leading
just
up.
get hijacked, man. I want to do it, but I'm scared.
I'm super
It's
open on my
fine.
I
YouTube
guess
channel
it
about my
has been
product.
done, like jungle sticks.
Oh yeah,
No,
yeah.
no one can hijack Travis's product.
It's
That's
too much.
Too
correct.
hard. It's
That's
I don't
too
even
much
want to
work.
hijack my product. It's been such a pain in the butt. So, yeah. So I'm going to be launching it. A big thing. I kind of talked about it earlier, but I'm doing the podcast, and my goal of the podcast is it's not so much to get a bunch of viewers or a bunch of listeners. The goal is actually to network with influencers and then have them post about my product the day it launches. I'm also doing a YouTube channel just for fun. I'm testing all this stuff out for my channel, a YouTube channel, and going to try to basically get a bunch of emails, and when I launch live on the post about it on the YouTube channel. Obviously, another big thing I talk a lot about is a Facebook group. I've got a Facebook group that I call it the Performance Nut Butter Launch Group. It's all the different people that are interested in my product. Gonna launch it on there. But what things am I missing? Like what things, if you guys were to launch a product, especially with everything going on right now, any tips, any advice that anybody might have?
You have your reviews ready to go.
So what I'm planning on doing is I'm gonna get the product launch group. I'm hoping they'll leave reviews. I'm trying not to do any like gray hat, any shady stuff, but just getting them. But maybe typing it out,
that would be
making
the
it easy.
biggest key, because what I've seen with people that have launched products live, when I say hijack, people are idiots and it pisses me off. They'll go in and buy your product and just purposely leave a 1-star review just to make you fail. So if you can get 20, 30 5-star reviews, 1 or 2 1-star reviews isn't going to kill you.
Yeah.
So if you can get those reviews lined up, even though, yes, it's against terms of service, but
Man,
yeah.
come on. Literally, like the biggest companies in the world, I know exactly what they do to get reviews, and it's all like against terms of service in supplements, at least. So
It's probably in every category.
yeah.
You can just assume that everyone's evil for the most part.
I mean, yeah.
As long as you're doing it in an ethical, I think there's ways to do it in an unethical way. And there's ways, if you got a good product and you're not doing it crazy.
I always say like, hey, this is what some people are doing and it might be what I'm doing, but I can't instruct you to do that because, you're going to just follow my advice, with zero precaution. But I'm a firm believer of who cares what the rules are on the platform you're on, as long as you're taking care of the customer and not, making the customer have a bad experience, which is ultimately what the rules are there for, to protect the customer experience and the brand and keep it all profitable. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
That's actually something that I did
biscuit.
on that product that I just launched a week ago. Since I'm doing it merchant fulfilled, I can decide what I ship to that customer. And so instead of sending them just the product that they purchased, I include a little bit extra as a thank you. And I'm not asking them to leave a review. I'm just just giving them basically free product. And I've got like tons of people to just leave reviews just because I provided extra, just the best customer support. And I provided more value than what they were expecting. And they're going to leave a review. And
What was that company that did that too? There's a company that did that super successfully. I think what they did was they never said that it was going to be next day shipping or expedited shipping. And then you bought, I think so. And then you bought on their website and then they gave you expedited shipping and they're like, oh my God, like this is amazing. And like, even though, I mean, they factored in the price and all that stuff, that surprise makes the customer experience 10 times better.
If you had little 1 ounce private label bottles of hand sanitizer to just throw in there with a thank you note.
That's it. Boom. Game over.
Although that might be considered hazardous material. I don't know.
I mean, if you're doing merchant fulfilled, you can do that.
Do whatever you want.
If it's hazmat, right? You have to ship ORMD, which means ground only, no air. So it's parcel post and not priority, which it costs a lot. If you can't get priority cubic, or if you have first class goes in the air, so automatically would be 1 pound parcel, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Travis,
so go ahead.
Yeah, I would add one thing for you to try. Have you considered working with other brands that sell similar products or products in the same niche and doing maybe a giveaway together or doing some sort of promotion together to promote your brand?
I've done that a little bit in the past, but that's good. That's good advice. That's definitely something. And just, you're talking about like on Instagram, do like a post at the same time, or do you think like emails?
Any type of cross promotion to use their audience.
Mm-hmm. I do
Love
that
it.
a lot with Vino cards, and it's pretty successful because they'll comment a lot, and then I can reach out to those people that are commenting on their bigger following page, and
There
it
you go.
translates to some sales. So something.
I would just say that you should have your promotions, your coupons, your bundles, and your PPC all lined up, ready to go.
Yeah.
Anyone know when coupons are going to come back available?
No clue.
No.
I never
No.
use them.
So let's wrap up, and we'll end the stream in just a second. As a reminder to everybody watching, there's links to everybody's YouTube down below. Ariana Chedraui here. She's at 998 subscribers. We just need two more
yeah.
people to get her
Go
over
Go
1,000.
subscribe right
Hold on, let
now.
me fix
I'll
that
get
right
on
now.
there, and I'm
What's
going to be
what's
a
the channel name?
subscriber.
Thanks, Trevin.
It's Ariana Chedraui. There's a link in, oh, you probably don't have access to the description. There's a link in the description too. But any last minute things anybody wants to say before we end the live stream?
Did you want to answer the questions from the live?
We could. I just don't want to keep you guys too long. I said an hour.
I'm chilling. I'm not doing anything
$9.99
else.
now.
I'm down to
Thank
stay.
you.
All right, let's answer some of the questions, and then we'll go from there.
I'm like that student that's like, do you want to?
You already have 1,000. It says.
I see it too.
Just got it.
I did,
Congratulations.
but I just subscribed. I was the 1,001 subscribers.
Woo! Thank
Congrats,
you.
babe. That's awesome.
Thanks.
We've been working on that for a long time. To be able to monetize your channel, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and also 4,000
watch hours. That's
She
the
does-
hard one.
Yeah, she doesn't have that just yet, but
So here's a little gray
better.
hat tactic for that, Travis. You might be able to help her with that. And this is what I was able to do on some of my secondary channels is I posted informational videos that were private for my group, for my mastermind, for my paid group as unlisted on that channel. And then put them in the group like that. So like, here's the resources for X, Y, and Z, and they're unlisted YouTube videos on the other channel, and they count as watch hours. Technically, I think it's against the terms of service. I think unlisted videos aren't supposed to count, but they do.
Interesting. It's great.
Perfect.
Dude, Reezy knows all the tricks in the
Yeah.
book.
He
Dude,
does.
I didn't get here on accident.
So let's go through some of the questions here. And if anyone sees a question or has a question for anyone else while we're here, feel free to just jump in. So someone asked, has COVID-19 changed where you're able to source products from? And are people still going with Alibaba? And James talked about that a little bit. And we've talked about that a little bit offline, James. So
No issues with China right now. They're still able to ship by ocean freight or by air. I am dealing with an issue with my supplier in India right now, where I think they're just as of yesterday able to go back to work, and they said they're going to start trickling it in. So it might be another few weeks, and I've had a pending shipment for about 3 or 4 weeks with them. But no issues with China.
So somebody asked, and I think this is for you, Trevin, why is drop shipping screwed? Please elaborate on that comment.
I've just heard e-packet shipping suppliers are so back ordered with other people, and then trying to ship their products to their customers. Like I've heard people that have just had to completely turn off their ads in stores because the manufacturers aren't even shipping. And if they are, it's taking forever, and customs is just a nightmare. So there's a lot of kind of not so good things happening right there.
I agree. That makes a lot of sense. I think if you've got a bunch of stock of inventory, you might be able to weather this storm, but that doesn't work for drop shipping because they don't care about you right now. Let's see, 15 cents. So someone was talking about TikTok is owned by a Chinese company, and they have some security concern.
Yeah,
What do you guys?
going around?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I think every company, Google, Facebook, they're all data mining the crap out of everyone. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think,
can't worry
Reezy?
about this stuff. Like, so, all right, man. Like, if you've seen Zeitgeist like 20 years ago, like we've been screwed a long time ago, and now they got a microphone everywhere. Like, you just can't have anything to hide. And a lot of people don't know this, but like domestic privacy laws don't matter because these companies, Google, these Facebook, all these companies, they store data in servers out of our country. And if the CIA wants data, they won't go through official channels to get it. They just instruct the company to move the data to a server that's offshore, and then they can get it without repercussion, right? And so there's no protection, like, I mean, I'm much more worried about our own government than I am about China, to tell you the truth. What are we coming out with mandatory vaccines, and you're going to have to get a chip in your arm on some ID 2020 stuff to prove that, you had the vaccine or whatever. Like, I don't know, man. Try not to worry about it.
I agree.
Yeah, that gets
Don't
down
worry.
a bunch of rabbit holes of, I don't know. There's been some I don't believe all the conspiracy theories and everything necessarily, but there's some interesting things about, basically this could be another, like after 9/11, the government got a lot more control over the population. And this is another thing that they could potentially, and I'm not saying they started the pandemic. I'm not saying anything like that, but there's a quote by, I think it's Churchill, never waste a good crisis. And in the government's eyes, this is just another opportunity for them to say, hey guys, I don't know if you guys have heard about like contact tracing. It's like, oh, well, we need to keep track of where you're going to see who you interact with just for the virus. And that stuff scares me more, because then it's like, well, that's a slippery slope for what's good for us versus what's good for the society as a whole. That's a negative tangent I don't want to go down though right now.
I gotta bounce, guys, but
But
awesome talking to you guys, and I'll catch you guys soon.
Bye,
Thank you.
Mina.
awesome.
Nice
I
meeting
think
you.
I think what that's saying, we can,
On the end of that
go ahead.
topic, I just want to add that if you guys have not seen the Netflix documentary about Cambridge Analytica called The Greatest Hack, you need to watch it, because like they know everything about you based on like, it's insane. Just tracking your phone's location via Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and all this stuff. They know where you're going to go next Thursday at 2:32.
Absolutely. It's crazy times, but a lot of good opportunities too. I don't want to end it on too much of a negative note.
No. It's good. A lot of good stuff's happened. There's like, marketing opportunities that are good for people that are selling products based off of that data. So literally, that like
It's true.
they put this billboard right here because they know that a lot of people get ice cream at 2:32 and then they drive home. And then that's why that billboard's right there for Baskin Robbins or whatever. Like, that's not an online comparison, but there definitely is online comparisons.
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook ads, with all that data, Facebook ads, and it's going to make advertising a lot easier in the coming years as we get more and more data. That's definitely a very good positive about it. All right. So with that being said, any other last thoughts that anyone has before we end the live stream and we can just chat amongst ourselves for a second?
Thank you so much for having me, Travis. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thank you guys all for coming.
Fun.
Thanks, Travis.
Yeah, it's been awesome. And check out everybody's channel in the links down below. Thank you guys all for watching. All right. I am